yoga. As you can see, I'm in a different space than normal. We converted part of our 3-car garage into a workout area since we only have 2 cars. And so I want to try having class out here. It just gives me more space, more room, different ways to set up. I feel like it's a little echoey, so you guys can let me know afterwards if the sound quality is poor, but I'm hoping it's not too bad. So we're going to go ahead and start seated. Have your block and strap nearby. And find a comfortable seated position. Feel free to sit on a block if you want. Sitting in your best posture, so you're lifting through the crown of the head. A nice straight spine, closing the eyes, and let's focus on the breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Mouth is closed. Try to slow that breath down. Let's add our arms in with this breath. Inhaling as we sweep those arms up. Exhaling as we reach through the fingertips, arms come back down. Let's do one more. Bringing hands to the knees, keeping your good posture. We're going to start to rotate around, circling around our base, keeping it small at first. If you feel yourself start to loosen up, you can make that circle a little bit bigger, but listening to your body. Let's reverse, other direction. Let's go one more time around. And then we'll meet back in the center. So back to nice and tall. We're going to do a gentle spinal twist here, so very important to be tall. We want a nice tall spine when we twist. So let's take our right hand over to our left knee, and then taking our left hand behind us so that we're sitting nice and tall, and pulling that left shoulder back to help you find the twist. And if it's comfortable, turning your head, looking behind you. Breathing through the twists, nice, deep, slow, cleansing breaths. Let's do one more inhale. then let's exhale as we release back to center. Let's take our left hand over to our right knee, our right hand behind us, keeping us nice and tall. Pulling that right shoulder back, finding a good twist. Find that good breathing. One more nice big inhale. And let's exhale as we come back to center. Good, let's grab onto the front of those legs. We're gonna inhale as we pull forward. And then on that exhale, we're gonna hang onto those legs and round it all the way back. Inhaling forward. Exhaling on the way back. If you wanna sigh out that breath on the way back, that's a very good stress reliever, tension breaker. Let's do one more. And we'll go ahead and release all the way down to our side, hugging those knees into the chest. And let's do a little side to side rock. And then dropping those arms out like a T, we're gonna place those feet down on your mat. Let's take a nice big inhale. Then as we exhale, dropping knees to the right. Inhaling as we bring knees back to the center. Exhaling knees to the left. Let's go side to side with the breath. Taking your time. Keeping both shoulders flat against the mat. Let's do one more on each side. And then we'll meet with those knees back in the center. Let's go ahead and take the legs nice and long. Let's do a great big inhale as we reach those arms overhead, a great big stretch, reaching both ways, elongating the whole body. And then as we exhale, just let everything relax. So inhale, reaching, lengthening. Exhale, relaxing. Let's do one more. Good, hugging those knees back into the chest. You can either roll to your side or you can roll straight up, and we're gonna come and find our way to hands and knees. We're gonna do a few cat poses here. I feel like my camera's a little crooked. There. Sorry about that. All right, we're stacking those wrists right underneath the shoulders. We're stacking the knees right underneath the hips, and we have about the size of our fist that fits in between those knees to get us ready for cat. So as we take a nice big inhale, tipping that tailbone up, lifting the head, gazing up toward the ceiling, and then as we exhale, tucking that tailbone under, dropping the head, rounding the spine up, stretching like a cat. Let's inhale. Let's exhale and round. Keep going with that breath. Let's do one more. Meeting back in a neutral spine. We're just going to do a couple of movements here that are good for glute strengthening. So we've done similar moves when we do spinal balance, but we're going to warm up the hips a little bit and then work on strengthening the glutes a little bit. So the first one is we're going to take the right leg back, squeeze the glute to lift, but we want to keep the abs zipped in to brace. And then we'll set it down and we'll kick the left leg back. So we're lifting that leg, but we're not letting go of the abs. If we let go of the abs and lift the leg, we'll be able to get it way up here. But if we keep those abs pulled up and in, that leg will be more level with the back. So think about activating that glute. We're just trying to warm it up. We are going to do some warrior poses a little later in the practice. And we want to get some of those bigger muscle groups warm and ready. One more each leg. Back to both knees down. And now we're going to externally rotate the hip as we lift that knee out to the side. We'll take it down. Let's stay on one side as we do this. So trying to keep the rest of your body nice and still while you find this lift and this external rotation. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to do it wrong, like bending and going all crazy everywhere else. Try to leave everything else completely still while you move in that right hip. Let's do one more. And we'll switch and do the other side. So see how still you can keep everything else. Let's do one more. And then let's meet back in our extended child's pose. Sitting back on those heels, reaching out with the hands, resting the forehead on your mat. Let's find our movement. Inhaling as we rock forward, finding a kneeling plank. Exhaling as we stretch back. And when you're ready, adding those chaturanga arms, lowering, pressing up and back. Keeping that core engaged, keeping those elbows in close. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll meet back in our extended child's pose. Now moving into our half series vinyasa. So inhaling as we come out, exhaling as we lower, inhaling cobra, exhaling as we press back. Let's do that 3 more times. Meeting back in extended child's pose after that last one. Let's find our way to our first down dog. So tucking those toes under, lifting that tailbone up nice and high, leaving some softness in the knees. Let's go ahead and walk those feet, pressing through one heel and then the other. And we'll meet back in our downward facing dog, tipping that tailbone up nice and high. Feel like you're pressing your mat toward the front of the room. Breathing. And now let's move back and forth. We're going to find full plank, back to downward facing dog. Taking your time, moving with purpose, moving at a controlled pace. Let's meet back in downward facing dog. And we're going to turn this into our half series flow, or vinyasa. So inhaling into plank, you have the option to put your knees down if you want. Exhale, lowering with control. Inhaling upward facing dog. Exhaling to down dog. Let's do that 3 more times. Let's go ahead and walk our feet up toward the hands. You can bring your block in play here if you would like to bring the floor up closer. Let's walk the beat, lifting one heel and then the other. let's relax and find an easy forward fold. Good softness in the knees. We're gonna find a good bend in those knees so we can rest the torso on top of the quads. Relaxing, releasing. On your next inhale, let's come up halfway, half lift, and then exhaling as we release back down into forward fold. So inhaling on the way up, trying to find that perfectly flat back, and then rounding, releasing back down. So if you want to turn and look in a mirror to see if you've got a nice flat back, pulling those shoulders away from the ears as you come into that half lift. Option to float those arms out long by your sides, or leave those hands on the front of the legs. Let's meet back in easy forward fold. And now let's inhale as we sweep all the way up to the top. And let's exhale as we swan dive, hinging at the hips, and then softening those knees to release hands to the bottom. Inhaling up, exhaling on the way down. Keeping that nice flat back. Let's do one more swan dive. This time we'll inhale up, and let's exhale as we find our chair pose. Remember, in chair, to leave an inch or two between the knees. You always have the option of bringing hands to heart center if these extended arms bother the back at all. Listening to your body. You want to feel weight in the heels, so you could pick your toes up and wiggle them a little bit if you wanted to here. And we're going to flow our chair. Inhaling up, exhaling as we sit back, finding that chair behind us. Let's meet down in chair again, this time everyone bringing hands to heart center. Option to stay here with weight in the heels, or to lift onto the balls of the feet and the toes for a balancing chair. Good, let's go ahead and come up. Shake those legs out a little bit. Maybe grab a sip of water. I opened the door, I needed a little fresh air, and I'm hoping that my dogs won't try to sneak in. All right, let's start back in a good mountain pose. Well, the breeze blew it shut. Let me see if I can fix this. That roller in the doorway should actually help keep the dogs out too. Okay, good mountain pose. Spreading the toes, grounding the feet. Let's lift through the crown of the head. See if you can grow taller. Let's roll the shoulders up, back, and we'll reach down through those fingertips to pull the shoulders away from the ears. Let's inhale, sweeping up. Exhale on that swan dive. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Hands come down, and we're going to take our right knee back. Our left knee follows. Finding that extended child's pose. Let's move through one vinyasa. Let's bring just our right foot to the top of the mat. So because we're going to do some warrior poses later on, it's a good idea to get a nice opening through the hip flexors here. It will help our warrior poses in a little bit. So we want our knee stacked over the ankle here. This other knee is back behind the hip. So maybe you want to scoot that knee back there even a little bit further. We're going to walk those hands up. We're going to roll the shoulders back, so we're lifting the chest, trying to push the hips forward to help open up that hip flexor. You can stay here, or you can sweep that left arm up and maybe slightly back behind you. Good, let's bring those hands down, and we'll bring that left foot up to meet the right. We're going to do 2 half lifts today. Another half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhaling into our chair. Inhaling up. And let's do it all again on the other side. Left knee leads us back. One vinyasa. Just the left foot steps up. Right knee scoots back. Finding that hip flexor stretch. Option to add the right arm in if you want. Let's step up with the right foot. Another half lift. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Let's go through it again. This time stepping back to down dog.
One vinyasa from here, option to put those knees down if you want. Option to stay here or to sweep the right leg out for a three-legged dog. Stepping or sweeping the right foot up and through, finding and holding our lunge. We want to make sure that knee is stacked over the ankle. You can stay here with hands down on the ground, or you could sweep those arms up. Let's step that left foot up to meet the right. And we'll go one more time through. Again, that option to lift the left leg this time for a three-legged dog. Stepping or sweeping that leg through to find your lunge. Good alignment, knee stacked over ankle, toes are out in front. Hands can stay down or hands can sweep up. Let's step that right foot up. And let's exhale, hands to heart center. Inhaling and exhaling. Option for a sip of water. Okay, so let's come to the very back of our mats. And we're going to take a nice big step forward with that right foot. So, right toes pointing straight ahead to the front of the room. And we're going to take that left heel and we're going to kind of turn it in so that the left toes angle to the corner of the room. And as you look down, you may need to make a little adjustment. You want heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. So a couple weeks ago, remember we talked about standing on that balance beam? That's what we're going for here. Let's make sure for warrior one, we're setting up here, we're going to turn those hips toward the front of the room so those hip bones are straight ahead. We're going to sink down, we're going to bend this right knee. And then we're going to add in those strong warrior arms. So those hands reach up, but let's roll the shoulders back and down. Good breathing. Let's take a great big inhale and reach as high as we can up. We're going to exhale, turning the hips and dropping arms to shoulder level for warrior two. Couple things to check on in warrior two. Is the knee often, a lot of times, likes to kind of cave toward the middle, like I'm having my knee right now. We actually want that knee to stay open so that when we look on the inside of that knee, we can see at least our big toe, if not the first 3 or 4 toes. We want to stay tall, so we're zipped up and in. And we want to reach both ways through both sets of fingertips. Gazing out over that right hand. Let's roll the shoulders back and down. From Warrior 2, let's find Reverse Warrior. We're going to drop our left hand on the back of our leg. We're going to flip our right palm up, and we're going to lift that hand to the sky. Option to move into Humble Warrior, clasping the hands behind, resting the right shoulder on top of the right knee, releasing the head, letting the hands move up toward the sky. Let's come back up about halfway, resting that elbow on top of the knee and reaching that hand up and then over the top of our body for a side angle stretch. You can stay here with elbow on knee, or you can drop hand down to the floor on the inside of this foot. One more option here is to create a bind. Taking this top arm and reaching back behind your back, taking this right hand and reaching underneath the leg to see if you can clasp those hands. That may be hard to see from this angle. I'm going to show it from the other side, as long as I don't slip. Whichever one of those you choose, breathing. And now let's reach up. Coming up, and you can go ahead and straighten out that front leg. So from here, we're going to try to move into Warrior 3. Warrior 3 is our balance pose for the day. It's also known as balancing stick. So, you can bring the feet closer together and step into it that way, or you can challenge yourself to see if you can shift all the weight. You've got even weight on front foot and back foot here. You're going to see if you can push off the back foot and come onto just the front foot. Now the trick is to see if you can keep those hips level. Arms can either reach straight down your sides, or you can do arms out like wings. A little easier on the balance most times. Or one more option is to clasp those hands above you, seeing if you can squeeze your biceps against your ears and come into balancing stick with one straight line. So the key is not to be like this. We don't want to be rounded and hunched. This is wrong. We want to see if we can come in really straight with a nice flat straight back and a long spine. You can always choose to move against a wall. If you need a little support, maybe resting one hip up against the wall.
for a little bit of help, you can try your different options with those arms. Sometimes it helps some people to look in the mirror at themselves while they're balancing. That can be kind of fun to see if you can get that leg up high enough. If you're watching yourself in the mirror as you lift that back leg, seeing if you can make that leg disappear so that you can't see it in the mirror. And when you're ready, releasing, shaking that leg out a little bit. Maybe a sip of water. And now we'll come to the back of our mat again. So we can do all that on the other side. So now let's take that giant step forward with our left foot. We're going to turn our right heel in. Look that you're standing on that balance beam. Heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. We're going to turn those hips to the front of the room as we bend that left knee, sinking down for warrior one. Arms come up. Shoulders roll back and down, away from the ears. Breathing, strong warrior. Great big inhale as we reach up as high as we can reach. Exhale, we're going to turn those hips. Arms come to shoulder level for warrior two. Remember to check in with this knee. Don't let it cave into the center like I'm doing right now. Open it up. Look on the inside of it. Make sure you see at least your big toe, if not more. Zip those abs in. Be really tall. Lengthen through that entire spine. Reach both ways, gazing out over that left hand. Reverse warrior, right hand drops down the back of the leg, left hand flips up and reaches up. Folding forward, clasping those hands behind us, humble warrior. Coming back up, resting elbow on knee, reaching that right hand up, and then out over the body, side angle pose. You can stay here with elbow on knee. You can drop, hand down to the floor. You have that option to go for that bind. And now we're going to come back up. And here is where we're going to transition to our warrior three. So again, you could step those feet closer together, or you could try this little more challenging move where you try to really push off that back foot to bring all of your weight and balance onto that front foot. Remember, you have all those different options with your arms. See if you can keep the hips leveled, squared up to the floor. You can pause. You can try arms overhead. You can move against the wall. Try looking at yourself in the mirror. Maybe see if you can get that leg to disappear. And when you're ready, rest, shake it out. And we're going to come down to seated. We're going to do our staff pose. Working on that posture for a moment. Let's zip those legs together, flex the feet. We're going to roll those shoulders back and down, sitting up as tall as you can. Imagine that rope attached to the crown of your head and somebody's lifting, pulling up, lengthening your spine. Straddle work here before we do our relaxation. So we're going to open those legs up nice and wide. And then we're going to place our right elbow down on the floor or close to it. If it has to hover above the floor, that's totally fine. It does not have to be all the way down to the floor. We're then going to take our left arm and we're going to sweep it up. And then we're going to reach it over, like we're trying to reach toward that right foot. So you're lengthening the entire left side of your body. And then maybe see if that left hand can reach out beyond those right toes. Breathing. And then let's turn and we'll try to look nose to toes. And you can use both hands to either grab on at your shin, your ankle, your foot, or you could have your strap close by. You could use your strap instead. Good, let's come back up to nice and tall in the center. So now left elbow goes toward the floor. Remember, it doesn't have to be down the floor. It could be up on the knee. Then we're going to sweep the right arm up. And then we're going to sweep it over. Lengthening the entire right side of the body. Seeing if you can reach the right fingers out past the left foot. And then we'll turn. You may want your strap again here, or you can grab on. And we're going to look toes. We're going to look nose toward the toes. Lengthening, breathing. Let's come back to center. This is where you may want your block. We're going to try to hinge forward here. So there's a difference. Hinging is keeping the back flat. That's what we want to do. We don't want to come forward and slouch. I'm slouching and my back is completely rounded here. We don't want to do this. That's why we're going to bring the block in. We need it. We can set that block up high. We can hinge forward and keep that back flat. We can walk the back down, or the block down, still keeping the back nice and flat. Depending on your flexibility in the inner thighs and hamstrings, maybe you can reach out and grab on. It does help if you keep the chin up. That's going to help keep your back flat. Typically, once you drop your chin, you have a tendency to round through the rest of the spine. And let's go ahead
bring those legs back together. Shake out those legs a little bit. And you guys, I neglected to look at my watch right when we started to see how long. I think we're pretty close to our time, but I'm not 100% sure, and I don't have a timer on my camera there either. So I'm sorry if I cut you a little bit short, but we're gonna go ahead and do our Shavasana, our relaxation. So let's find our resting pose. Let the body get comfortable. Release all the joints. Let the muscles relax. Return to your good breathing, filling and emptying those lungs. Soften and close the eyes. Let the mind relax so the body can relax more. Drawing that awareness back, let's wiggle the fingers and toes. We'll slide one foot in and then the other. So we can hug those knees into the chest and giving yourself that little side to side rock again. Releasing one arm above your head to roll to that side, to use the other hand, pressing up. And we'll return to seated where we started. Finding your good posture again. Let's either clasp hands behind us or reach for the opposite elbow. A nice flat back, hinging forward. Yoga Mudra, sealing in all the benefits of our practice today.
Coming up as we release those arms, a great big inhale. Pressing palms together, let's exhale, hands to heart center. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Namaste. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hear that you're getting some warmer weather there, so it sounds like it's starting to look and feel like spring, so I'm so glad for you guys so you don't have that nasty cold. And I heard that it's supposed to get in the 80s here next week, so I can't believe we're gonna get back up into some of that heat already. I have really been enjoying all these 70 temperatures, not ready to let that go. But enjoy your weather and have a great weekend.